even know. But now that we've met everybody, it's kind of a fun, spiritual enlightenment thing. At least for me it is. So I'm going to be looking at my phone just for notes. I'm not checking text messages. So for those of you who don't know, there's some visitors back, I guess. My name is Brad Anderson, and I write for Launch DFW, which is a tech blog. It covers startup related news and events in the local area. And through that, I got involved in Startup Weekend. That's why I'm organizing this one. Joey passed it off to me because he got sick of the Dallas scene. Moved to Seattle.
I like rain, I guess.
He likes a lot of rain. But we have all been part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. There is a global, I guess an association with Global Startup Battle. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Global Entrepreneurship Week is a whole global movement to encourage entrepreneurship. And you saw the message on Friday in the video. And we have all been part of Global Startup Battle too, which is they're making a record-setting attempt. I told most of you about this. They're trying to start. How many? Do you know what the record is?
Maybe over 500.
Over 500 startups in this weekend or this week?
This month.
This month. Okay, sorry. So the Global Startup Battle is a big deal around the world, and the winner tonight gets to compete against the rest of the startup weekends around the world. The prizes I told you about, I'm going to try to repeat them and do justice. There is a slot at the Demo Asia Conference in Singapore in February, a table at the Launch Conference in San Francisco in March, a $5,000 legal incorporation package from Cooley Law, and a PR launch package from Kauffman Foundation, 40 hours of web design services from B-Track, so they LA, San Francisco. And so a lot of that, there's great prizes, and you're competing with, the winner gets to compete against the other regional winners, I guess. So.
There's also, I actually got a couple emails today from Brad Feld and also Andy Sack. Brad Feld runs Techstars in Boulder. Andy Sack actually runs Techstars in Seattle and Founders Co-op. They said that they'll meet with whoever the winner of the Global Startup Battle is, so that's a pretty good opportunity. I'm sure that I can get any other meetings, whatever. If you guys want to meet, whoever wins the Global Startup Battle, tell me you want to meet, and I'll make sure it happens. And also, Startup Weekend is going to support whoever wins the Global Startup Battle through whatever we can, whether it's promotion or, like I said, getting meetings or whatever you guys need. So we're here to help you out.
Joey will do the solid, is what he said.
I'll do a solid.
The winner tonight, as a winner of this, you have to submit a 60 or 90-second video. I'll check with the details after this, but submit it to a specific page that I will give the winners. That's so they can verify and you can be part of this pool so people can vote for you. So what I'm encouraging is for people that don't get first prize, vote for the Dallas team that wins. It'll only bring more awareness to the Dallas entrepreneur scene. Once again, I want to thank the sponsors. Of course, the Alcatel-Lucent NG Connect programs. Stephen back here is the representative here. Been very gracious with offering their facility here. They're all about entrepreneurism. They have some companies, which includes Proximo, back to back, working here as, do I call them tenants? I don't know what they're called. Residents.
Basically, residents, free residents.
Free residents. So they get to work out of this office. And we want to thank them. Steve or Melinda, do you want to speak? They are veterans of the second or
up there or stay back here?
Whatever's more comfortable for you. They're veterans of Startup Weekend. That's where they started. In, was it number 1 or 2?
It was the first Startup Weekend.
Okay,
I actually got up. I was the second guy to pitch, and I pitched an idea. We called at that time You Got Game, became Meet Up Sports. And while we were trying to build out the app that weekend, we realized the problems that come from all these disparate APIs, and decided, we could create one RESTful API with a suite of SDKs that would solve all the problems that the majority of the problems that developers have for building in and cross-integrating the functions they use most. At the second Startup Weekend, we actually gave Melinda McCall, who's currently our Chief Operating Officer, Startup Weekend has given us national visibility, exposure to the guys at Alcatel-Lucent, and from there to an event called BlueCon in Boulder, where we got to meet Brad Feld and chat with him for a little bit. The exposure is great, the experience is great, as you know, but it doesn't have to end here. You can take it to that next level. It helped us get into, for example, the Tech Wildcatters program, and as you would see if you stay involved, these things continually build on each other. So Mel's going to give you a little update about where we are today.
Yeah, so we did quite a bit of research on apps and those that are building apps, and we found out that about 85% of the apps in app stores today were built by teams of 2 to 5 people, boutique shops all over the U.S. and all over the world. So when we put together our back-end services, it's the back-end for mobile, we knew that we needed to reach out to the global community and specifically to individual developers. This wasn't us trying to go out to corporate America or enterprise shops. It's us building an API that would basically be a back-end service, as a collection of back-end services built by developers for developers. And so we've just made a huge business model shift, and Proximo is free. Free for the masses. Go use it,
free
code
for
on
developers,
it.
yes.
And we are right now experiencing a fantastic groundswell of developers utilizing our backend services. So if you haven't been out to Proximo yet, I would absolutely recommend taking a look at Proximo's backend services. Go build your apps on it, and we are, again, a nice suite of backend services: geolocation, SMS, text messaging. We have access to short codes. We have our own gateway, MMS messaging. There's a full suite. We also have a scheduler if you want to send text messages in the future and schedule them. So we've got some really cool stuff out there. And again, it's a RESTful API, so you can connect to it and kind of plug in place. You don't have to worry about the back end services for your mobile app. You do the front stuff.
We're your back end in 5 minutes. By the way, when you go to the pricing page, it looks like we're going to charge you. That's just because we haven't updated the web page yet. Don't be afraid. Get in touch. Yeah. And for the half of you that didn't use us here at the Startup Weekend, feel free to come up. And for those who did use and talk to us, and we'll show you how to use it for free. For those of you that did use it, we would love your feedback, good or bad. We would really love to hear what you think about your experience with Proximo.
And we're here in the Gravity Center, so come by and see us anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Thrasher and Melinda McCall are their names, in case you were not aware. I'm going to talk about the rest of our sponsors. Hulsey IP Law, Alan Torn is representing them. They're the main prize givers. They have a, do you know the numbers? $8,500 first prize.
It's $8,500 in IP legal services.
Right.
First prize, $4,500 for second prize, and $2,000.
Okay, so $8,500, $4,500, and $2,000 for first, second, and third. Those are our prizes. Baylor Keller, once again, the small business law firm based in Dallas. Been very encouraging and helpful with their sponsorship of various events. And Firehost, Mike Smith, Firehost guy, he was here somewhere. What's that? Yeah, they host Secure Cloud Hosting, and they host all of the Startup Weekend regional city pages. Work Zero, they've had the project collaboration software. You've seen Richard or Robert go around to all of you guys during the weekend, helping you out. Hopefully that was a valuable tool for you to use to manage your projects.
We've set up collaboration space for all the projects here. I'll put a couple of codes up on the board. It's all free for until the end of next March. So if you guys want to continue on, you're welcome to. If you don't, it's cool. Okay,
so free services offered to all the teams through the end of March, is what he's saying. Cloud9, I can never speak accurately about this. Cloud9.
I think it's basic. I'm not a developer, so this is like totally not my language.
Does anybody use Cloud9, by the way?
I think it's basically like an API or something, so you can bypass building a backend for mobile apps.
That sounds about right. Yeah, try to.
Yeah, basically I think you can build up just really simple, this is the kind of data I need, these are the keys I need it on, and so you can get it back and forth, set it, get it.
Okay, really developer.
Yeah, I haven't used it, but it sounds really cool to me.
Okay.
Check it out if you have it.
Jumpfish Mobile is the way I send out some mobile messages. I'd like some feedback on that if you would offer that, what your experience was like using that. Cohabitat, of course, downtown has been very supportive. Rob Carpenter represents them. And Stuart Youngblood, Tech Wildcatters representative, the incubator, Seed Accelerator program in the Uptown area also. They're very supportive. We want to express our thanks to them. Prize announcements, I already mentioned whole CIP law. Microsoft is offering an Xbox 360 Connect machine, and what we're going to do is for the best gamification application or best use of gamification for today. So we're going to talk about Work Zero. We also have a gift card from Best Buy. And I want to especially recognize Harley Barnes. Where's Harley?
Yes.
Is he in here?
Sitting here. I don't know where he went.
I'll embarrass him later.
Harley!
Harley.
Is he back there?
Still working.
Because he's one of the designers, as you know, and he did a great job of trying to work with all the teams, and I want to recognize Harley, and we're offering him a $100 gift card from Best Buy. Very helpful with all the teams he's helped in his design efforts. And I know Marilyn and Jay, you work on your thing, and we appreciate your offerings, and I'm sure you help some teams, right? Yeah, a little bit, but you have your focus, I understand. But thank you very much.
Well, I think Jay deserves one too.
Jay?
He did a lot.
Now you're going to put me on the spot because I don't have an extra one. But you can split. Split with them.
You guys fight over it.
Yeah, you can fight over it.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So, okay, it's time to get out. I want to announce the judges. Eric Engineer on my left, a partner at Seven Rosen Funds. He's also the president of TechChange. He's helped a lot of you yesterday as a mentor, briefly. Been very supportive. Eric Engineer. Round of applause. In the middle, Scott Tyser. He's on the board of directors at MTBC, which is Metroplex Technology Business Council. It's hard for me to say that. Board of directors at IIE at UTD, which is the Innovation Center. Is that correct? Board of directors on about 50 other things.
No, it's like 50.
Okay, a lot of things.
Just a serial.
You go to his LinkedIn profile, and it's very long. Lots of stuff he's involved in, but please welcome Scott Tyser. And on my right, Taylor Cowan represents Microsoft, the BizSpark program in particular. He's an architect evangelist, and he's been helping a lot of you throughout this weekend with architecting your solutions and with BizSpark in particular, I imagine. So please welcome Taylor Cowan. I want to mention the judging criteria. A lot of you have asked. In a nutshell, it is customer validation. Have you found the market that who are you trying to sell it to? Business model. How viable is it? That kind of thing. And execution. In other words, how did you work as a team? Did you really build a workable product? And even if you didn't, that's fine. But execution is part of the criteria. So they want to try to figure out how did you work as a team and how did you go about building this. So without further ado, I think we're ready for Team 1, and it is called Booked. And we're going to have two speakers. Max, I'm going to click one of you guys up with one mic, the other with the other one. I forgot to ask, are there any questions before we get started?
I don't think I need a mic.
You don't want to mic that one?
Go on.
All right.
They won't take it.
Judges, we're going to do a 3 minutes on run you guys for question and answers.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
so we can roll through this. Get you guys out of here as fast as possible. It's all good.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, 5 minutes, you may not have heard. 5 minutes.
And then 3 minute Q&A.
5 minutes presentation, 3 minute Q&A. So during the Q&A of the team in front of you, we want the next team to be queuing up and connecting to the machine. And we don't need a lot of this 5 minute lag time to bore the judges and everything else. So during the Q&A, the next team start queuing up and connecting. Go.
My name is Brian Curlis. I am the go-to guy for property rentals in Austin, Texas. In the last 3 months, I put 150 people in rentals for property owners. This market is an $85 billion a year industry. We are Booked.com. We are the first marketplace for residential rentals last minute. In the past 24 hours, We validated our ideas, capturing 10% of Austin's marketplace. We are ready to take our model and expand it worldwide on scale. Welcome, team member Mike Morrell.
Thank you, Brian. For a lot of you may be asking, what is a last-minute rental or a last-minute renter? This is someone who's had to change business plans, something's come up, a hotel's not available, and he wants to rent a house, or he wants to get the best price. And with the fact that a lot of these sites have now put a lot of their vacation properties online, more and more folks are renting vacation rentals compared to hotels. Right? And hotels have already built a model that I give them my credit card, they trust who I am, there's already a trust system implied, and they just reserve me a room. But the fundamental problem is, how do you build a marketplace for the last-minute rental model? The key issue is, so today I'm a property manager. This morning, I get a notification that someone wants to rent my property. The key trepidation I have is, someone who rents last minute normally is not a perceived good renter. Right? There's a negative perception with someone that rents last minute. So that's the fundamental problem. A, there's no marketplace for the last minute renter to use because the property manager is uncomfortable renting last minute. But more importantly, we provide an opportunity to maximize occupancy. Right? And we fundamentally are going to change this market by doing a couple of things. First and foremost, we will be the first marketplace for last minute rentals. We believe in the sharing economy, more and more people are going to be comfortable going online, using their mobile phone to rent and book a place because there's so much great content online. But more importantly, as I said before, how do I increase occupancy for the property manager and still trust and confidence that the person renting is the best renter for me for that last minute rental? In fact, because of Brian's domain expertise, we reached out to 442 property managers, and we asked them a series of 10 questions. And we confirmed our hypothesis that they can rent on weekends, but they cannot get weekday rentals. Why? Because the user can't easily find a way to rent weekday in a full house. There's just not a market there to do that. More importantly, we've confirmed that they have a distrust of prospective renters who rent last day or last minute within 24 to 48 hours. Based on that survey, the last question was, based on what we've asked you and the value prop we've offered, would you list your property? This is fundamental to building a marketplace. You don't have a marketplace without properties. Until you get properties, you're not going to have renters. So a simple look and view into what the app looks like. The web and all these booking applications have trained the user how to look for properties. So the web is not really critical here. What's critical for the 11th hour is someone who's renting via mobile. Right? So we clearly going to use the mobile app for the renter, but more importantly for the property manager to go in today and say, this is available because I did not met my yield goals for that property. The key to our strategy is what's called Confidence Farm. We are going to build a proprietary trust ranking algorithm that has nothing to do with your credit score. It's going to use publicly available data to create a score, and the property owner can decide whether they want to rent to someone based on their score. So if I own a $5 million property on Lake Austin and my $1 million boat is parked there, I can say only people with a score of 90 or above are going to be able to rent that property. More importantly, we think the API here is a big part of this model. Acquisition, direct to consumer via the web. We're going to pilot in Austin. 3 potential strategies we're going to use for inbound once we get the site live. A very highly targeted pay-per-click campaign. That's my industry. Targeted on the person that's searching for the last minute rental. Organic search campaign, but more importantly, being that I know social media and influence, we're going to use a key outreach strategy, and our plan is to launch at South by Southwest. Revenue streams, take a cut of the transaction. This is a model that already exists today. Advertising, premium listings, but more importantly, do you have the team that can execute? You have a team that can deliver on the value proposition. High level, timeline, very high level. Most important thing is we got to get developers, we got to build the product. Our goal, book 100 listings in Austin. We've already got 24 that are willing to list their property, and then we build an upcoming launch strategy up to Austin using influencers.
So what's the fundamental difference between your idea and vacation rentals by owner?
Because vacation rentals by owner is only a matchmaking service. What happens is someone says, I want to rent your property. What happens? You get a notification, and you have to vet the renter. That does not work if I'm a last minute renter. I want to know now. I want to book the translation and get in my cab and drive to the property. That's the difference.
How do renters enter the system with credibility, or how do they bootstrap their cred?
So this is where gamification comes into place. Using a variety of content that's publicly available, they can raise their score by giving us more information. First and foremost, to enter the system, they would authenticate via Facebook. Today, that's a common authentication method. To raise their score, we continue to ask them for questions. Right? If they want to rent that $5 million villa that's available tonight, they've got to raise their score. Right? So we continue to ask them, do you want to raise your score so you see better properties? Do you want the pool with the nice backyard? We continue to get them and prompt them to raise their property. This is the key to the influence piece. Right? Because we find some influencers that add all of their data, and then people try to figure out what the algorithm is. The algorithm mechanics will not be public, but there are some neat ways to trick the market in thinking what will drive their score.
So what does trust really mean here? Because, I understand that it's important to, in some situations, to know that the person that is who they say they are. But I'm guessing for some of the renters, they care more about, are you going to damage my property? Are you going to be loud and annoy my neighbors? Do you get that kind of insight from this algorithm? Does it match well with what you're
There's
trying to
already a
apply?
system that exists for people that have already rented properties. Once they've rented, they write a review, right? And we ping them and say, hey, in order to drive your score up, you need to both write a review. But remember, the algorithm is not just for the renter. The algorithm is for the property owner, too. It's both sides. So I can choose in the search that I only want people with a certain score based on the reviews that are written on the site already.
Yeah, but what does that score imply is what I'm trying to understand.
It works with public data such as property tax.
Yeah.
When I get a call right now from saying, hey, I need a place tomorrow, I'm coming in for a conference, I really need a place, you really have to trust what they're saying. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, they're already been vetted. We know that they're paying $20,000 in taxes, or that their score is weighted high enough. This data is public. This data is going to go into our algorithm, and it's going to make it so we can vet for them. And that's really the key fundamental part with this, is that API, that backbone that gives the trust. Without that trust, that's why last minute
That's why he
rentals
makes
right
a
now.
living helping.
That's why
rent
right now
last minute
I make a
properties.
living off vetting for people. That's the only reason I have business, is because I take the end. If I get a bad person, I lose my business, and we're going to do that.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next team to present is called Adventure Book. You guys ready to rock?
It's not.
We should call it Adventure Book.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, the computer is not seen to be able to connect.
Did this monitor is not yesterday? I'm sorry, this.
Yeah.
This.
Oh, this.
Yeah, with some computers it works. Probably the best thing is to use one laptop. This was a big problem. You guys, 20 minutes this week's work. That's what they do.
Projector is going to be full.
These guys do a tech check during this, I know.
That's why we
got
guys.
I don't know why it's not.
Alright, we're out, guys.
I'm trying to go straight out to the one, or just read the computer.
Why don't we pass the puzzle and someone else will fix it? Mobile tech support.
Oh,
What's your problem?
I think, oh.
There it is. Good.
Yeah.
Good. There we go.
Maybe we just have to be patient.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, you still ready? You got your work queued up?
You want us to?
Just plug it up t-shirt and have
I wish you should have
We're going to move it out.
There's more than that.
I know.
Forget it was done, right?
In between.
Hey, evening everyone, thanks for coming. GoneBooking.com. What are we? Today, the storytelling reading experience is a one-dimensional, flat, linear experience. We're going to change that. Tomorrow, it's going to be an interactive, immersive, engaging storytelling experience. We're going to let you, the reader, become the story. We're going to let you live in the story. We're going to let you decide how the story unfolds, where it goes, how it ends. First of all, who are we and why are we important to the team? What do we bring to the team? We have a business development executive, we have a front-end and a back-end architect who together can put this solution together. We have an angel investor who knows about business. We have a finance guru who can keep track of numbers. We're also readers. We have 2 published authors in this team, a book addict who knows a bunch of authors, and someone who publishes his own newsletter. So we bring relevant domain experience to the team. Market size, really quickly. Between 2008 and 2010, the market for ebooks went from 0.6% to 6.4%, which is just under $900 million. In net unit sales, it's 114 million ebooks in 2010. This market is getting huge. I think the technology around us shows us that every day. Key revenue drivers. Now, we've identified a lot of key revenue drivers. We're going to focus on the top 3. Monthly membership fee for any author or writer that wants to publish a book out there for everyone to read. A percentage of each book sale. This is just like the Apple App Store, where you as the publisher gets to keep most of your revenue. We take a little bit of it. Copy editing, proofing fee. As a writer, you may want a little bit of help with copy editing or proofing. We're happy to provide that service to you for a small fee. Now, there's a bunch of other stuff here that we've identified. We don't have time to get into it now. And, you know, this is a growing experience. Some of these are going to work really well. Some of these are not going to work well. So we're not going to put all our eggs in one basket. We're going to grow and figure out what's going on. Cost roadmap. Now, we've rounded these costs up to be conservative. We'd rather be safe than sorry. $90K is what it's going to take to launch this product and get it to market. That includes our office equipment, marketing, legal fees, content acquisition, which is paying some authors or offering prizes for content, and development and design of the website. You can see our variable cost here goes up over time. That's because on the website, as we get more users, running costs, bandwidth costs, and tech support are going to go up. Now with that, I'm going to hand over to Kyle, who's going to show you a demo of the product.
Thanks, Mukesh. We're redefining the concept of storytelling. So I'm actually going to show you a demo, and we're going to tell a story through this demo. And I invite you all to go to this URL right now. There's a live demo up on our site of this particular prototype of software, and you can see this ebook reading experience that we've created. So there's a character named Kyle. He may or may not be related to me, actually, but we're going to tell the story of how Kyle got to be here. So the team forming progress was going on. We all remember that a couple of, 54 hours ago, the team forming progress was happening. And I was basically going all around the room, just trying to see what teams might I be able to help with. And I ended up finding a couple of teams. Whiteboard was one. So what if I had gone to talk to Whiteboard? This team, unfortunately, for me, already had a great prototype, so the skills that I brought, the JavaScript development, wasn't going to be particularly helpful for them. But it was a great conversation nonetheless, and it validated a lot of great ideas that they had. So I had a choice to make. Am I going to go talk to Booked? We just saw them. They're awesome. What else might I do? I chose to talk to Adventure Book. While I was talking, Mukesh came up and asked me about JavaScript. He knew he needed a developer to build a prototype. As you can see, we're going through a story and we're making choices and we're going to different parts of the story and we're affecting the plot, just like when you were a kid and you did those old-time choose-your-adventure games. So we want to build this experience for writers from hobbyists all the way up through published authors. We've actually gone out and surveyed and found out that authors are willing to do so. We already had one author who's a published author and very well known in a couple of writing spaces. He already agreed to participate and write for us. We've had a bunch of different survey signups. Here's our logo. That's our planning process. You can see how we went through papers. The question you really want to know is, will we be able to get authors? And the response when we asked an author, yeah, I'd consider it. So we have real people that want to come in and do this, and it's not just for books that are for sale. This can be used in educational arenas like creative writing classes, scrapbooking for people. There's a variety of different applications of this software technology, but we're excited about changing the way storytelling happens for both the author and the reader. Thanks.
Did you look into how many existing choose-your-own-story books are on the market today?
Yeah, so we did a lot of research on this. We Wikipedia'd it, we Googled it. Now, as far as what's offered on the web for a reader to consume, there's not a lot. There's a few text-based, very rudimentary games. It's not very engaging. It's not going to pull you into the story. So something like this, which is very engaging, it can be cross-platform on your iPad, on your Kindle, on the web. There's nothing like this out there. And if I'm Googling it and I'm trying to find it and I can't find it, it's just not visible enough.
There's also no one that's doing a platform for authors to have a central place to do all different kinds of writing, from hobby writing all the way up to full published novels. We want to be that single location, and we also want to be the single location for fan fiction, so there'll be a collaborative element where readers can read a book, like what they hear, and then decide to contribute content back to that universe.
So just to expand quickly on that, what we're offering is not just a product, it's also a platform. So it's a product for someone to go and consume an ebook. It's also a platform for authors to go and create them.
So if you're a platform, are you selling to authors or are you selling to publishers?
As a platform, we're selling that to an author, right? So an author who has an idea or multiple ideas can go out there, create their book, and then sell it.
It's the publisher who decides the platform.
We're actually going to become a digital publisher, so we're cutting out that middleman.
Yes. And the controls and the reviews is going to be community-based. So we're going to let you put out there whatever you want to, and the community can respond to you, and you can engage with the community to carry on your product.
We're going to drastically reduce the barrier to entry for authors. People who might want to write a short story of 25 pages or less, right now they really don't have a great way for them to do that, and especially there's no economic way for them to do so. This will be an extremely low barrier entry economic model for them to get in and do some writing like that.
I got to tell you, I'm a little confused as to what the product is.
I'll tell you what.
And maybe it's because I used to be a writer, and the last exit I had was selling a publishing company to Dow Jones.
Okay.
So,
sure.
So maybe I'm too much in the weeds here.
No, that's fine. So when I was younger, right, we had these stories, right? It was a paperback novel in which I could make choices. Right, it's the choose your own adventure books, and this is basically choose your own adventure from when we were kids, but merged with technology that wasn't available back then. Right, so we can reach many more people today, especially with the expanding ebook market, and we're basically allowing the reader to make choices within the book to decide how the story goes, so that each story can have 50 or 60 or 100 different endings, and you can restart the book and follow a different path in each case.
And our product is a writing platform as well as a reading platform. So it's a first of its kind opportunity for authors to figure out, use advanced planning tools to track their character arcs and build these types of stories in a way that they probably would have to do manually otherwise.
All right, next team up is Swapple. Dylan Hopkins. You want to mic up?
Yeah, please. You going to be speaking? Actually, you know what?
Test. Check test. You good? Judges ready? Yes. Taylor? Ready?
Yep.
Joey, ready?
Connected yet?
I'm ready.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that definitely. Definitely might be.
So you're not connected.
I thought you
That could definitely help by that.
Your cord disappeared.
All right, give it about 10 seconds. So just, there it goes.
Okay. All right. So I'm really excited to show you guys what we've been working on this weekend. We've been working really hard. So this is my team. I've been working with guys from New York because I kind of had a hard time getting a team together here. So this is who we are. We're Swapple, and the problem that we're trying to solve is we think the economy is doing pretty bad and it's only going to get worse. So I think we can all agree on that. My family is kind of had some problems from it. I'm sure yours has too. So this is the solution. We want to make a web-based platform that will connect people for the purpose of trading their services or items. So I'm sure a lot of you are probably asking, like, what sets us apart from the competition? Because there's been some people that have tried a similar model of this, and what we want to do is really focus on a localized community. That's really been kind of the problem, I believe, for a lot of our competitors. They do things like shipping a book across the United States when they're trying to save $5 for the book. So it just kind of makes me think, like, it doesn't make sense. So this is our revenue model. We have 3 stages of monetization. I'm calling it kind of like the snowball effect. The first one is going to be auctioning off featured ad space weekly and daily in each category of our website. The second one will be selling suggested swap meetup spots to people in the community. So like for instance, a mom and pop coffee shop will pay us $500 a year. Whenever 2 trades are completed in the area, we will suggest that they meet up at that coffee spot. The third one is selling user data. So this shows here by current projections that we plan on being profitable by month 12. And so that's kind of what we've been working on. I do want to show you a quick demo because we're putting a lot of focus on our product this weekend. We've really worked hard, and our coders have worked really hard. We've been designing and worked really hard, so I want to show you the demo real quick. Alright, so this is where you would land at currently. We'll be IP ping in the future, so where it'll automatically pull your location. So we'll go ahead and go to Dallas here. And this is the front page of Swapple. This kind of like is our hook page. This will explain exactly what the website does, 3 easy steps, so you kind of subconsciously register that immediately. We can sign up real quick here. So this is like my user control panel. This is going to show the items that I have in the inventory. This is something else we have that most barter sites don't, is we want to inventory every item and skill as like a actual inside of like a game type inventory, and then this is a watch list for items that I'm really wanting to get. So I have my recent activity here, messages, offers, ratings, etc. This is the auction ads that I was talking about. So we have all these categories, and each category has subcategories also. And as you see, these top ads here will be auctioned for weekly spots. So once a week, people will bid on these slots in their category. These will be daily. So we'll go ahead and post an ad real quick. So this is what it looks like when you post an ad. Pretty self-explanatory. The only thing that we have that kind of sets us apart here from some of our competitors, such as Craigslist, is whenever you post it, you actually put in the data that I'm looking for. Let's say services. I can put in web development right here and add it, and it will actually collect that data. And then whenever I post the ad, you can see it represented visually whenever you're looking. Or if a user is browsing, they can see exactly what you're looking for. So for instance, if I wanted this custom T-shirt right here, I can automatically see that this person is looking for, whatever the case may be. So let's say I want this T-shirt, I can offer a trade here. And so our motto is like we want to make this the most seamless experience possible, the most seamless bar. We want it to be really funny or really fun. We want it to be really easy. So we tried to make it to where it's as much like a game as possible. So this is what we did. We have my inventory here, which is going to be all my items and all my services. This is going to be their stuff of the person that I was just previously trading with. And I can just click these here. So let's say I want to trade these things here, then I can propose this as a swap. And then it's going to take me to my offers. So this is my offer history. This is kind of like the offers that that I've had coming in. So let's say that I want to look at a previous offer that I had from that same user. I can just open this, look at the details of the trade. I can see their rating, their feedback rating, and I can accept, counter offer, or decline. So that's Swappable. That's what we've been working on. If you accept the trade right here, it'll take you to a map. It'll suggest a meetup spot, and you take it from there. So that's how we want our users to borrow their services and skills, sorry, their services and items. So if you guys have any Q&A, 30 seconds left. Any questions I can answer? Yeah. You guys have any questions?
So this has been tried with CDs, books, et al.
Right.
What's fundamentally different here?
Well, the leader in this industry right now, they're doing books, CDs, like you said, and movies mainly. And like I said, their model, for some reason, they think that they want the users to send in their items to them as a central hub. They inventory it, and then they send it out to other people. And so it just kind of boggles my mind that they have an inventory and all this overhead for CDs, books, and everything, whenever you could just do it in the local community. This is kind of how Craigslist has come about. You know, he started his thing in a local community, and he took it from there, and that's, you know, he focused on the local community, so that's kind of what I'm wanting to do. Just make sure that if I can suggest the user stay within Dallas, that it'll make it a lot easier, you know, to connect for a trade.
So you're going to focus on local.
Right.
Where people can physically exchange goods.
Right, because then like a lot more trades you can trade cars, you can trade mechanic work, you know, perhaps whatever it is that you're looking for. Anyone else?
In addition, were there any other income streams besides ads?
There's the three things that I mentioned that are going to be our main focus, which is collecting and selling user data, which that's our third step. We want to do that later on. That'll obviously be something we have to do with a lot of users. The medium one that we want to do, our middle step, is the suggested meetup spots. And we kind of threw around some numbers with that, and there's a lot of possible revenue with that, a whole lot. Because you imagine how many mom and pop stores, local businesses are in every single area of every city. We threw around the number of around $500 a year maybe to be a suggested meetup spot. We would bring them a whole lot of customers, you know, and that's going to do really well for us. So.
Have you had a chance to talk to people who use Craigslist for swapping? Because there's a section there for that as well. And how effective Craigslist has been for them. Is this a pain point where they need a better tool, or are they happy with the status quo?
That's a fantastic question, because I actually, the reason why I kind of got this idea is because I spent a year in Austin and I made my living actually bartering and gaining value from items by trading and then reselling it. So this is a problem I ran into because I use Craigslist. If I wanted to trade something, let's say I wanted to get a computer server for an item I had, I would have to search computer server, email 100 people down that list hoping that they would accept my trade. So I would just have to spam everyone, hope that someone would want what I had. And so I was just thinking, well, what if there was a website that would just automatically show me if that was even an option or not? I wouldn't have to email all those people, and you know, I would also be able to look. I would be able to see what was even available to me based on what I had.
It's just about making it more efficient.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, I'm just trying to make it extremely seamless. Because I really believe that a lot more people would use bartering. So, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, just keep the questions to the judges.
Yeah, judges
are
only,
have time
yes.
for everybody.
For audience Q&A. All right. Next up, we have Cosley, which has changed names how many times? Only once? Okay.
Who's changed the name the most times, you think?
You're live on
it's like function. Both shifts, alt, control. It's already
depends on the model. Just don't alt F4.
And he hit play and then go back. Go back one.
All right.
Next slide.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we are Cosly, cause.ly. We're going to talk to you about two major problems that all nonprofit organizations have. And that's one, engaging people, and two, the costs of fundraising. The way that we're going to approach these problems is through using today's technology, through mobile device apps for instant contributions, and user-created campaigns. So we are creating a vehicle in which users can create their own campaigns. But let's take a little bit closer look at our market. In 2010, total contributions were $290.89 billion. The interesting thing is that 73% of all those contributions actually did come from individuals. So this is our target. But let's go even further. Next slide. Let's look at the power law distribution. This is something that occurs within an open system. Okay. Within the open system that we're talking about, you have the fat cats over here that are spending lots of money contributing to nonprofit organizations. Okay, those organizations have cell phone numbers for these people, so they're not going to use our service. But 80% of all donors fall in this category over here, where the amount of money that they donate is considered below average. Nonprofit organizations, next, because they're actually institutions, are not connecting with this lower 80%. Institutions are inherently exclusive. They simply cannot hire anyone who's passionate about their cause. They can't connect with everybody who has a great idea for a campaign. However, with our technology that we're going to present, we're going to present a vehicle in which somebody who's passionate, somebody who has individual creative inspiration, an individual sphere of influence, and the ability to create video logs and blogs is going to be able to tell a story and raise money for something that they are very passionate about already. There's no better way to inspire somebody else other than telling a story. So a great example would be if somebody is diagnosed with cancer and they want to take that fight, they want to take that battle and do something good with it. What are they going to do? They can create a campaign where they can raise money. But not only that, they can tell a story. They could take a video diary from diagnosis and through their entire battle. And so that sphere of influence that they have is going to be highly, highly engaged with this person and thus become highly engaged with the nonprofit organization that they are supporting through their campaign. We're going to aid these campaigns by creating instant donations with mobile technology. So we're going to eliminate donation failure, which is passing the pickle jar and saying, I was going to donate, but I don't carry cash, I don't carry a checkbook, I was going to donate when I got home, ... There's always a but. We're going to eliminate donation failure by capturing donations instantly. Next. We have a straightforward revenue stream. We're going to take 2% of every donation that is moved through our vehicle. There are some other things also, but this is just the primary source. Over 3 years, we've looked at a similar business model that is lacking in several ways that we see. But they were able to raise $4.3 million over a 3-year span. We think that we can go above and beyond that. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to have a beta. We're going to have test campaigns to present market data and look for $2 million in venture capital. Our rollout strategy and launch is going to consist of consulting with campaigns, consulting with nonprofit organizations, and speaking engagements at like high schools, universities, church events, that sort of thing. Next. We have some peripheral benefits that I would love to talk to you about, but we skipped that one. But because we wanted to demo all the work that's been done this weekend, we have a live website and a mobile app, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to James.
So we really want to focus on giving a very interactive experience and a very, very personal experience with the website. So we really focused on doing the web and the mobile presence. So right here is our main site. We actually have partnered up. We have actually done it with a Facebook Connect. So we've done with having to have another login. Go ahead and click on Start a Cause. And an individual can come, start a cause. And basically this is where you can choose. You can name your cause name there. The organizations already exist in our database, so these are legitimate organizations that you are raising money for. Come down here, you can tell your story. This will be presented on your cause page. Upload a video or a photo, and then go ahead and click on the the next page, and this is what one of our cause pages looks like. This is a landing page for your cause you can redirect people to here. You can donate now. Obviously, everybody likes kittens. And then down here, go ahead and click on the donate, or click. Oh, that's QR. Okay, go back one. Okay, click on donate now. Oh, okay, go back. All right. So the idea.
And you can actually scan that QR code and see a mobile app. That's also a company overview.
Let's see if we can get this guy while we take some questions.
Yeah. Questions?
So there are a lot of there are a lot of services that allow people to collect money, you know, like causes and a bunch of other stuff that's been out there. So I'm trying to understand where you think those fall flat and where you're really differentiating yourself. Is it about the allowing people to create the websites and media around it, or what is it?
That's part of it. Also, the thing with causes on Facebook is it's so cluttered. If you typed in TCU, you're not going to find TCU Frogs for the Cure that supports Susan G. Komen. You're going to find TCU for BCS National Championship. Okay, the causes that exist within that, their market needs to be narrowed because they have so much clutter and junk that it becomes ineffective. Also, the way that it's so enmeshed with Facebook, you can be in causes and you don't spend any time on their page. You are inside of Facebook. So if you get a message while you're looking at something, notifications, you're going to get distracted. We just feel like there's a better model out there. But we don't just want to be a tech startup. We want to have people that have feet on the ground, that are going around and consulting with nonprofit campaigns. We want to have feet on the ground with organizations and showing them how they can use this technology to make more money. We don't want to take from the pockets of the organizations. We believe that they're doing great things and we want to help them. And another problem is every single organization is paying for somebody to create something like this for them or to strategize something like this for them. And so we would actually be cutting those costs out because we're providing them a free service. If we don't create donations for them, we wouldn't make anything.
Okay, so I'm a little confused because I was first under the impression that you're trying to help individuals.
Right.
And then you're saying now you're talking to larger organizations.
Right.
So which one is it?
Our target is the individual is going to be the user, okay, that's going to create campaigns. Nonprofits, there's going to be a back end of market data that we'll be able to help strategize with them.
Okay, so you're helping the nonprofits help their people who want to help them raise money.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of spokes to the wheel.
Okay.
But there's a back end of market data where we can strategize with them and show them you have a huge hotbed of support here, but you're spending all of your resources here where you have no return.
Okay.
So what's the payments platform that you're using?
Payment platform actually got connected with Walla, which is a flat 25-cent rate. We're looking at any kind of platform, but we're going to have a...
So let me cut you off. What's the source of funds? Carrier billing or my credit card account or directly into my bank account? Or
Right. Well, I mean, eventually, whatever drives the percent for the transaction fee down so that we can get the most amount of money to the organization. However, to start with, we don't want to alienate anybody. If they actually want to make a donation, they go and they say, oh, I don't have a PayPal account, or oh, I don't, you know. And so that strategy we're looking for a little bit of expert advice on the financial system of the thing.
All right, thank you guys. All right, next up we have Corollary.
Everybody hear me okay? Alright. I want to start first and foremost in saying that I am extremely grateful for the team that I had. I know we had a lot of struggling with developers and finding designers, and I was lucky to have both. So they're all kind of scattered in the audience right now, but everybody, yeah, raise your hand. You guys were fabulous, and without this, yes, even you, in fact, even this would not have been possible. So I'm going to start with the same question that some of you might have already heard. How many of you have ever used a job board? How many of you liked using that experience? Yeah. See, this is a model as an employee is awful, and we use it because we need jobs, and as an employer, we need employees, and we still have to use it. There has been no revolutions made. We just keep making more and more job boards. So what we're wanting to do is create a whole nother system. We are wanting to visualize the search process and match people to companies and potential hires. The more compatible that we can create, more of a compatible match that we can create between a company and their potential hires, we actually reduce the amount of people that are leaving and moving on jobs. We're reducing that rate, and we're creating more productive, efficient companies. So let's look at the main competitor. We all know Monster. Okay, Monster in 2010, this is their own data. They had 22 million unique visitors per month, and they had 1 million resumes uploaded each month. Out of that, in a year, they had $914 million in revenue. Seems like a big competitor. But out of all of the jobs in the US that year, only 3.6% of them were actually coming from Monster. So when you look at the match probability, they have a lot of the population, but what else is there? So what we're coming in is we're coming in at multiple points. We're coming in a social interface. So we're coming in to integrate social profiles to get better matches. We're coming in with a better visualization. And as our population grows, our match accuracy and personal branding, creating an identity for these people that works across all platforms, increases. So how are we going to do this? We want to do a freemium model for both the individual and the company. For the premium version for the user is about getting heat maps. It's about being able to see the company, what companies are looking at you, how long they're looking at your profile, and specifically what they're looking at. That encourages the user, if they want that job, to create a social profile to brand themselves, to make themselves more appealing. On the company side, they're able to access a massive database of information, of keywords, of skills, of education, and get better matches faster. They're also able to contact those people in the interface themselves. So let's take a look at what this possibly could look like. We want to give you the most simple, effective interface as possible. We want to give you only the information that you need to make that decision. We want visual cues that show you right off the bat who's going to be your best match based on the criteria that you have set, the criteria and the information that both parties have input. You have an ability to star people for later use. So if you want to go back to a profile later and you find that interesting, you can star it and you can contact them right there. You can see all the information that makes that person probably match. Now let's say you click on somebody. You are given a full profile, not only just the percentage match, but you are given every different aspect of why that person is a match for you. This does not happen yet, and it surprises me that it doesn't happen. You can also, there are questions these people can answer, and those are done from the company. So you as a company in your hiring process, you have interview questions. You can actually upload those on here and see how they respond to them. And those keywords and those answers increase that relevancy. On the other side, as the user, you can look at the companies and you can see what they're looking for and improve your skill for that. We also have an interactive element. You have requirements that have been set by the companies that you can choose. We actually have an interactive element thanks to our programmer. Feel free for you guys to play with it. You can choose those tags that you've set. If you say you're a programmer, you can actually go in and you can say, and these are specifications that have been set by the companies. You want an expert in CSS or in HTML, these are the requirements you have set. So it's discouraging people from lying about how good they really are on something, and again, getting you a more effective match. That's what I thought.
I have a question. Because of the rapid feedback that I heard that you've embedded into the system, I'm worried that the candidates would begin to try to just game the system and get attention by adding keywords and things. How do you prevent that kind of behavior?
So one of the key features we have is the social verification. So we encourage the users to link to their Facebook profiles or LinkedIn profiles or Twitter profiles. And what that allows for is it's a keyword match. So for example, I'm not a developer. So if I say that I'm an expert in Java or what have you, it's going to rank pretty low. If nowhere else in my social profiles does say anything about me being a Java developer, it's not going to have much weight. However, my background's in social media marketing. I put social media, I link my Twitter, I talk about social media all the time on Twitter. So suddenly that term becomes that much more relevant, and essentially you're creating a brand for yourself, and it's encouraging people to create a brand out of themselves to mark themselves up on those things that they really are good at. Does that make sense? Yes?
So
My question to you is, why would an employer upload interview questions and it's a person that's not quite qualified, they would put rules up and put in their answers, and then you will waste some money bringing in that candidate?
I'm sorry, I'm having a really
That's
hard time.
we're trying to restrict the questions for the judges.
Okay.
Sorry. Thanks.
So what's free? What's paid?
So for the user, you can set up that profile, you can access the site, you can access all the search functions, and you can message individually for free. You're getting the premium by being able to see those heat maps that I was talking about. Where the real money is coming from is those big businesses. We're going for big businesses with those core mission statements. Apple, I work for Apple, Google, Microsoft, the ones that have very strong core values. They're hiring a lot of people with very high skill sets.
And what are they paying for?
They're paying to be able to access that search.
So they don't get access for free at all.
We are going to allow them to see the percentages and see the matches, but they're not able to contact them through the system. So we've suggested there's a couple of models of how to do that. The one that we've suggested is not allowing them to see the names so that they can't go around the system.
Right, because if they could see the names, they could contact the people.
Right. And we're encouraging you to get into the social profiles. So as a company, the more information you add about your company and what you're looking for very specifically, the higher percentage you're going to get. And it's time efficient to you because you go to one place, you see that person is an 80% match for you, as opposed to going through a job board and having to search CSS and try to see.
So there's a chicken and egg problem with all marketplaces. So what's your plan to get started and at least get a bunch of listings?
I'm going to start small. So for this we started with developers, designers, and marketing for this, and then we do a high marketing campaign, big push for programming right off the bat, and then we start expanding from there. The scalability of this project is enormous, but you can start small.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All the stuff that really matters. Nicola.
All right, next up we have user stage.
How's it going?
We're trying to buy the judges today.
I'm ready.
All right, we'll go, Jason.
Okay, hey, how's it going? So it started weekend. Forgive me if I'm like really tired and I just fall asleep while I'm presenting. So we are user stage. We've worked really hard, and we hope you guys like our presentation. I'd like to start off by telling you a story about my first startup, Rentology.com. It was a property listing service, and I worked on it for about 2.5 years, and I got really familiar with the market. Like most startups, we had a database, and mine was really and this is only about a quarter of it. So I had this really big database, and I didn't know much what to do with it. I also had this fan page that I built up to almost 8,000 fans. So that was really great. You know, I was really proud of that. But I wasn't really sure what to do with it. So I had a big database, but I didn't know how to make sense of that, and I had a really strong following. But I wasn't sure how they were converting or how to interact with them. And being a startup, my mind was on so many different things that it was really hard for me to make sense of all everything. So over time, I kind of watched all of my time and money get thrown into the trash can because I didn't have the tool that I needed to watch those conversions. So what's next? What I needed was one interface that I didn't have to build and that could allow me to track users, conversions, and ROI. What I needed was to take my database and my social platforms and combine those with some really cool analytic tools so I could see my conversion. And that's exactly what we've done with UserStage. So this is your dashboard when you first log in. You get this really great view of the users that you build up over a period of time. I can set campaigns, so I can see my campaign with a start and end date. I can see the users that I've built up through that campaign. And just like in the stock market, if you're familiar with E-Trade, you can see a volume ticker. So your posts, how frequent they were, and how much interaction they got. So if you had a video campaign where you're posting out videos to Facebook or Twitter, and that got a lot of views, it would increase on this ticker right here. You could also click on this and see how it influenced your user growth over that period of time. You can also see your user interaction, so what their engagements were and if they got attention. The next view is our conversion view. You can actually see your users, Facebook followers, and Twitter followers, and how they're converting, how they're, if a Facebook follower becomes a user, then you can hone in on that one person and get insight to what's happening there. You can also view your top users. So we'll show you about the top 20 users and what their most recent engagements were. We'll also overlay the top score. And oh, look, Eric Engineer, he has a top score of 80, which we're giving you.
It's a new picture.
But so he just said something to us in Latin, which I can't read. But if I click on him, I can actually see his profile. And because we're taking the database from the client and merging that with what they're doing in social media, we're able to build really deep insights about each individual user. What I really like about the platform is that we track these users over a period of time. So you can see when they become a Facebook fan, when they started following you at Twitter, and finally when they become a user of your website. You can also overlay your interaction with your social networks and see the frequency and if that affected a change in the user status. And now look, you can add tags to your user, and this one's invest in user stage, blah, blah, I don't know how that got there. You can also connect with this user through any one of their mediums that you have. These are our verticals, web apps and e-commerce. Some examples would be these guys right here. So we really feel like we have a really strong revenue model going after these guys. Our business model will be something per user, we'll charge per user, per interaction with an API call or something. I'll let Stuart and Rob talk more about the business model because they did more work on that this weekend. This is the team. I'm the UI UX designer, Jason. Stuart is our operations and finance guy, and Rob is our marketing genius. You guys have any questions?
Okay, so a user for JCPenney would be someone that registered on the site or someone that purchased something online?
Well, we can track that user through their database. So we will be asking JCPenney to feed us their database. Right. And then we would connect their social graph to that and start building that story. And then based on different interactions, we can give them different insights.
Okay.
And the great thing about the e-commerce part is that eventually you're going to be able to see, okay, they became a Twitter follower here, we're doing a campaign, and then, oh, they bought pants right here. So you can start marking where they actually purchase items. So that's very powerful for these e-commerce platforms.
So social media monitoring and figuring out ROI and everything is obviously a really big space. A lot of people are excited about it. There's definitely a need for better tools.
Sure.
I get all that, but it's also very crowded. A lot of folks are trying to do this.
Yes.
So I'm trying to understand, based on what you've seen in the market, and where do you think you're really differentiating, and what's unique about your approach overall?
That's a fantastic question. A little bit about my background. I was a social media manager. I have an agency. I just started up marketing. And there are a ton of tools out there in the social media space, especially in analytics, and a ton out there that are trying to prove that they can show social ROI. It's one of these new catchphrases. And basically what they are, they're tracking traffic to conversion goals or conversion pages, like a confirmation page. You can do that in Google Analytics, and that's free. And there's services out there that go up to a couple $1,000s a month, where it's trying to prove out that ROI. What we're doing is we're not just going off of traffic. We're tying it directly to the information within their database. So either directly to a user, particularly, that has an account with them, or particularly specifically to a specific sale.
Because we're watching social media and we have access to their database, it allows us to give us some really great conversions and really great analytics. We can see if one of our tweets caused a sale. We can see if that user made a purchase, and then that can be an open door to engage with them. Hey, thanks for becoming a user on my website. Thanks for buying that pair of jeans.
And you're linking based on email?
Well, there are multiple ways that we could build it out, and we've created basically a hierarchy. The obvious way, or the best way, is if they use Facebook Connect or Twitter Connect within their user registration. And then we have many other levels in which, if it didn't happen that way, that we'll be able to make that connection. The main thing I want to hit on is the user profile, filling in that information and combining that information into one view. It's very, very simple to understand. It's going to be helping those customer service reps and those social media managers know how to engage and have really cool insight into the users that they're talking to.
Thanks.
Thank you. User stage. Next up we have Disc River.
Everybody hear me? Okay, my name is Kevin Klugarth, and I'm here to present Disc River, a revolution in enterprise storage. As we all know, consumers, web business, mobile, social, local, video, and cloud applications are driving the need for larger data storage. Data creation is expanding at an exponential rate, driving a dramatic growth trend in data centers. Technology costs have continually dropped, but the decrease in costs has not been reflected in enterprise storage. For example, current trends in disk drives are about 8 to 10 cents per gigabyte. But a typical drive in an enterprise system runs about $2,500. The question you should be asking is, why can I buy a terabyte disk drive for $40 retail when they're charging me $2,500 to put it into an array? Okay? That trend is relatively flat and remains so. Next slide. This is a chart of typical enterprise storage costs per gigabyte for major players, EMC, Amazon, NetApp, Sun. You're talking somewhere between typically $1 to $3 per gigabyte. We intend to drive that price down to 10 cents. Next slide. The way we do this is we allow an arbitrary number of disk drives to be linked with one SATA interface, dramatically lowering the cost of the storage arrays. In this typical application, you'd have a host computer, could be a file server, could be an existing enterprise storage system. And we provide some ASICs, some application-specific integrated circuits that allow that host bus adapter, that SATA interface, to look into a chain of daisy-chained SATA disk drives, such that logically it looks like one big huge drive. In hardware, we're not doing this. These are not Linux boxes like they might use in a typical configuration. This is hardware. that bus is running at full SATA bus speed. So again, the host views the drive, the sum of the drives is one big logical drive. Next slide. Our proposal is a 3-phase plan for product rollout. For about $100,000, we plan to build a mock-up or proof of concept in which the ASICs are generated using PCs, using software to simulate it. Then the next phase is a chip development. ASIC chip development costs about $1 million, taking about a year. At the end of that, you've got a deliverable, which are petabyte class rack storage arrays that can be shipped at 1/10 the cost of current enterprise storage. Full commercialization. After that, you're delivering petabyte storage arrays to customers. The final level of integration is you go to the disk drive manufacturers and you put this